What's up, everybody? Doug Lane here, Fastlane Car Care. I've got this Ford Explorer here. What year is it? Should have known that before. It's a 20, 12 of 20. Could be a 21, who knows? But anyway, we've got these ridiculous vent shades. I mean, they're pretty cool, whatever, if that's what you're into. But the problem is they block a lot of the window, and so a lot of new tinters struggle with this, getting a clean top edge, or getting a clean pattern in general. So I want to show you how to do that. Now, some of these, especially the WeatherTechs, will actually run down in this front edge, and that can make things even more difficult. But I already measured this, and I also already forgot how much film I needed. So I'm gonna pull 35 and a half. I don't feel like wasting a bunch, but I also don't want to have to be too precise. This is a method you can use on any window, really, but I'm going to show you how to do this real quick. This one's just getting a set of front doors, so nothing too fancy. You know, time is money. We don't want to spend a ton of time on it. I thought I put that back in my box. Yes, this giant scratch here has already been documented. It wasn't for me. You know, is what it is. But we've also got the panels out so we can bottom load. Well, not the panels. We got the seals out. You don't have to remove the panel at all. This is a super easy vehicle to bottom load. Okay, so we got some overhang on this side. We got some overhang on this side. We're going to be kind of close up there, but you can kind of finesse this however you want. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to take my dehydra and I'm going to lock this down. I don't want this to move at all. Okay. I don't get too close up in here because you can pinch the film and crease it and all that stuff. And then another thing I'm going to just go ahead and do, I'm just going to open the door. You can do this without opening the door, but this will make it kind of easier. I'm just going to cut, I don't know, like half an inch or so over top of the door. And what that does is that gets rid of all this excess overhang that may want to stick to the windshield or the roof, or if you get too much pressure on these, your film's going to want to stick to your vent shades. It can cause you a lot of problems, right? If you're watching this video, you've probably already figured that out. Or you're planning ahead, doing your research and see what you're going to have into it. So next part of the process, we're going to take our towel, and I just want to clean this up here. I just want to dry it off. Okay. Now this is the, I don't know, this is often referred to as a Sharpie method. We're going to take a Sharpie, Milwaukee marker, whatever, and I'm just going to mark my edge. Mark my seal. You're basically just tracing it. Now on this front edge, you want to be a little careful because if you jam your marker down in here, you can pinch it, and crease the film, and then, you know, you're introducing some troubles. This may look kind of complicated, but honestly, guys, if once you've done this a couple times, you only need, you know, this much of a mark, and I'll show you why here in a second. You don't have to trace the whole dang thing. Now what we're going to do is I'm double cutting. You could do it just like this, and you could skip this next step, especially if you're newer. You may want to do that. And, whoa! Pull about 35. I think that's closer to 36. I don't really care. What's a half an inch? This is Helios Nova. It's a carbon film. Really good stuff. Love it. Use it for a long time. Never had a problem. Back in the day when I was using dish soap, I used to complain that the carbon and the ceramic films wouldn't stick because I had my slip solution mixed up for their super aggressive dyed film. But then when I switched to a real slip solution, it didn't matter if it was Fusion All Type or if it was GeoShield's Tint Slip. It worked tremendously better. So my issue was with the dish soap. That's a question that still comes up quite a bit, so I figured I'd hit it real quick. So now I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to mount this. Just going to lock it down. Again, don't get too super close to your edges, to the, you know, edge of the vent shade. Same deal. We're going to cut this off. Now, if you want to, you can save these scraps here These work out great if you're going to be doing quarter windows or whatever. That way, especially if you're learning, which statistically, most of you guys that watch this are learning, you're not pulling off a bunch of film just to do that. Now, I always like to turn the lights off. I like to turn the HVAC system off, the radio and stuff. I like to turn everything off. These newer cars have so much electronics and crap that they can run the battery dead super fast. On a set of front doors, not super, really an issue, but it is something I like to get the habit of. And you might want to as well. Okay, so now what we want to do is we just want to make sure this isn't really touching this, or if it is touching it, just barely, it's not stuck on there. Same with right here. You just kind of want to create a little bit of space. Now we've anchored it right through here, so here's the important part. We're going to bump this window down. Always beware of your mirror. So on some makes and models, just the way the mirror is, this edge will hit the mirror and you can mess up the film and all that. So I don't know if you can see, I've just got it kind of resting there. I don't think this is going to pose us much of an issue. But when you get this top edge down below that vent shade, and we're almost there. So let's just double check this. Yep, still looks good. Okay. I want to go one more bump. All right. Now, just for kicks and giggles, we'll go ahead and turn this off. I've already cleaned the top of the glass and the bottom of the glass. I've cleaned all the glass. So what I want to do is I don't know if you can see, I'm not shoving that in. I'm just kind of gently just letting it do its thing. Peel this back a little bit. Again, gently. Guys, a lot of your little creases and pinches and stuff come from the rough handling of the film in this step right here, or when you're peeling it off the glass. So you just want to be mindful of how much force you're using. And now I'm going to lock this down again. I would really like to have this bump down one more go, but we're going to see if we can make this work. I think we can. And so, like, let's say if we wanted to, we know we can cut right up here, right? And we're not anywhere near our top edge. Well, I guess I'll get that later. But what this little trick here is going to allow us to do is we're going to be able to lay that film. See how the film's sitting right on the glass now? Now we could just repeat the step. I'm confident I could have done that without doing that, but just for the sake of the video and teaching you guys, we'll do it this way. So now we'll start in this corner. Again, you just want to be super careful over here. And bloop. Oh. If I did get something happening like that, I want to start all the way over at the beginning. There we go. The trick to getting a nice clean shave is basically locking your wrists and keeping the same knife angle all the way across. And a nice sharp blade certainly doesn't hurt matters either. Okay. Now here's where the Sharpie comes in. Let me throw this light in here. I don't know how well this will work for you. If you're doing 20% is about the darkest that you can really do it without a light, but since this is on camera, I don't know how well it's going to work, that you're going to be able to see it. Now, if you have a peel board, that's awesome. This is a great time to use it. However, if you're watching this, you probably don't. So, I don't know. Okay, what we're going to do, we're just going to take our prep squeegee, and I don't know if you can see this. See this line right here? We know if we cut on the outside of that line, we're golden. Snap me off a nice fresh segment. And I like to go, just depends on the car, but maybe a 1/4 inch on the other side of that line. Seems to usually work pretty good. Now, this is where it might take some practice. If you have a peel board, awesome. If you have a like a ruler, or you could use your straight edge like off of your tri-edge or something like that. You could put your, dang man, this edge here is straight, right? So you could do one of these deals. I've been doing this for so long, guys, I can freehand it. You're basically just keeping the same, you know, deal right there. And then it's just a matter of rounding your corner, which there's a lot of debate on that, whether it's necessary or not. I like to, and I won't lie to you, I like to actually drop this front edge, right? Because we know our seal is going to cover right here. So I actually like to kind of drop that down a little bit. So just that way, I know I don't have to worry about it hanging over the edge back there where I can't see it. I don't have to worry about it peeling up later. Same deal with the back, guys. Super simple stuff. We use the same concept if we had the big WeatherTech shades, vent shades, visors, whatever you want to call them, window vents. Same concept, just a little bit different strategy. And same deal on the back. I'm going to go maybe a 1/4 inch. Tear away from your workspace. You don't have to. You could leave it on there. I just usually rip it off, and it's just a little bit easier to manage that. Same deal. I like to push it out so that way the moisture goes away. Doop. I don't recommend using your squeegee as a straight edge, because if you nick it, and you certainly will, you know, it's going to mess up your squeegee. So another trick that I use is these rulers. They are cork on the back. You can stick that up against the glass, and I don't really use it that much if it's on the car, just because you don't usually have a whole lot of room. But if you have a peel board, or I've even used the like the plastic tables, those plastic fold-up tables you see at banquets and stuff. Now watch getting your angle all crazy like that. That's when you'll scratch glass if you're not super careful. Mess that up a little bit. Let's go ahead and trim that. Trim that trash off there. Whoop. You know, might be worried about it, but I don't know if you can tell. You know, we still, even though we had to trim that little bit off, still have plenty. And then kind of the same process on the, as we did on the front. I'm gonna come in here. I know right about here's where the seal is gonna cover. I want to round it down. Again, a lot of debate on whether it's necessary or what, but me personally, I don't want this customer to have to come back because their film's making a crinkling sound every time they roll the window up, right? So, just some of the little tips and tricks I do. You don't have to do them. But, promise you they'll help you out, or at least they've helped me out tremendously. I warranty maybe 1 to 3 windows a year, and that's just, I mean, I'm doing well over 300 jobs a year, and some of those jobs are multiple cars for the same customer and all that kind of stuff. So I'm tinting quite a bit of glass for one guy. So only having one or 2 or even 3 comebacks in a year, that's pretty good if you ask me. And we can just turn that mirror if we want. Again, you know, I don't have a peel board, so I just peel off the car. If you learn to do it right, it's not really an issue. I like to mount that on the glass pretty well. A lot of times, like if I'm not filming, I got one of these heaters on until I actually go to stick the film. But just for audio purposes, I got that bad boy turned off. All right, so now we're gonna come along to the inside. Power our car back on here. Grab us a couple towels. Need to go down and get the clean laundry out of the dryer, but it's all right. One thing to make sure when you're sticking your film... Oh, okay, cool, it's going to slide for us. Alright, now I don't know if you can hear that, but going all the way up, it's got a lot of pressure up there for whatever reason. So, what I'm going to do is I want to remount this. Bless me. So I want to remount this, and I'm going to go like right about up here, so that way when I'm rolling the window up and down, it's not hitting this vent shade, which is what I started saying. You want to make sure that this does not hit this, because this part will try to roll up, this part can't go anywhere, and you can pinch your film, crease it, whatever. So just be mindful of that. Now that it's all the way up, we can just mount it. You know what I mean? We can just mount it pretty good. Alright. It's time to prep this bad boy. I like to lift up the bottom of my film when I roll it down, just because sometimes it'll stick and it'll try to get sucked in the seal. And are we dealing with the hydrophobic coating? Yes, we are. Okay. Awesome. Now we can make like 3 videos out of this one. Okay. So, I don't know if you can see how the water's beaded up. I'll come over here where it's pretty much dry. See how that water's beating up? That's going to keep your film from sticking, or keep it from sliding. Or rather, it's going to make your film tack up instantly. It's not good. And what we want to do then, you can use a couple of different products, or you can use a torch. I was against the torch for a long time, but I'll show you guys what you do. Take this one here. I like to make sure the glass is dry, and just for giggles, we'll go ahead and kind of dry this off so you can see what's going on a little better. Okay. So, products you can use. This is the best one I've found. Invisible glass stripper. Excellent surface prep. It comes with this little sponge applicator, but I just put it on a regular scrubby because that thing's way too thick to get into anywhere you need. However, I just use a torch. So I just use my torch, and you're going to see a fog come off this glass. Okay, you can see how fast that was. Now we want to roll up our window, and don't try to get super close to this panel. That's as risky as I want to get. And then be careful torching that if you have felt seals. You'll smell it. But you can see the heat keeps moving super quick. You're not staying in one spot. If you're worried about heat, like this is barely over room temperature. I can hold my hand, the back of my hand, on any part of this glass as long as I want. It's not hot. I like to do the one window, then I like to go over to the other, because I do want that window to be room temperature before I try to drop my film in. But getting down here a little bit is going to help you slide your film in. Like I said, you just don't want to torch your interior, man. That's the only downside to the torch. See that fog? When I first started using the torch, I thought that was just like the residue from the gas or whatever, and it wasn't really the coating. It's not, dude. It's so what causes that? That's another question I get a lot. Guys, it could be ceramic window cleaners. It could be an actual ceramic coating. You know, some people coat the inside of the glass too. But mostly it's your ceramic window cleaners. Dealerships put them on. All kinds of stuff like that. It just, you know, is what it is. See our film slid a little bit. That's okay. So now check out the difference. Now our water is sticking to the glass. It's nice and even. It's not beaded up. That's going to let us slip so much easier. What I should have done was grab one of those scrap pieces of tint and showed you guys firsthand how that works. Because you'll drop your tint on there, dude, and it won't want to go anywhere. So I'll just spray my glass cleaner on. Spray a little bit of slip. I like to do the edges. I like to do the bottom. So if you don't want to use a torch, you don't have a torch, you don't want to go buy a torch, you can spend about 15 bucks on that invisible glass cleaner, coating remover stuff. It works pretty good, but I have noticed that sometimes you need to use it 2 or 3 times on the same window to get it to work. And we as tinters, we do need to remove that coating, guys, because when it fails, your tint's going with it. It will cause premature adhesive failure. I guess, you know, if it's, I don't know why you would do this, but I guess if it's your personal vehicle or something, and it's like one that you're going to practice on, and you're just going to tint and untint, tint, untint, retint, I guess, but it's going to make it so much more difficult on yourself that you really ought to just get rid of that coating and just be done with it. My goodness. So, man, I'm not doing well today. So anywho, we've got that all scrubbed down. I'm going to drop it down just a little bit so I can do my top edge here. I want to take my towel, get that nice and clean. And then I'm also going to kind of reach up there and get the pillar. And then I'm going to get the side of my pillar. You see all that dirt that came off of there. This car only has about 40-some thousand miles on it, so definitely not high mileage by any means, but man, that dirt and stuff just hangs out everywhere that it can. Every nook and cranny. So then we're going to take our towel, push that out, and then if it's dirty, I like to do it one more time. Okay. That's dirty, but you can tell it's like way back in there, so I think that we're going to be fine. And same deal on the front seal. Clean. Hit it again just in case. And we're golden. So I throw that there. Wipe that down real good. Now, just kind of want to flush it out. Flush out the bottom real good. Flush out that side. Hit the top edge one more time. Now we're going to take our prep squeegee, which this is I think they call it the Judge. It's a Gasket Pro tools. And, just take that there. Sun Distributing, direct.com. They started, that's where I buy all my stuff from. They started selling Gasket Pro stuff, and I really liked the dehydrator that was given to me by my buddy Wagon Guy, so I wanted to try the Prep Squeegee. My Fusion Pink Clean is just, it's leaving some streaks behind and stuff. It's not the end of the world. It still works. I was just like, hey, you know what? I want to try something else, so I want to flush that bottom out real nice. 2 reasons. This is the first car of the day, so I want to get the old slip out of my hose. 2, I want to flush any kind of trash that might be lingering. I just want to flush it down, and I want to make sure I have plenty of slip for when I drop this tint in. Squeegeeing your top edge is a game changer for eliminating your top edge contamination. I don't know if you can tell, but I really just soaked the bottom right there. I didn't really spray too much at the top, and that's because I don't want any trash running down the top of the glass and down into my exposed adhesive. And now it's just a matter of taking this. Now, I'm not a professional bottom loader by any means, man, but I'm really enjoying the simplicity and the consistency of how to get clean results with this method. So, I don't know if you can see, but my back, I'm touching the adhesive, but I'm way down below the seal, so I'm not worried about any of that. I want to drop this front edge. You just want to keep the film flat on the glass is really the big takeaway here. And now, you can see I dropped that in at an angle. Now I can tuck my bottom in. And see how my film's just floating down in there, man? we've cleaned the top edge really good, so we don't have to worry too much about overhanging the film like we would if we were two-staging or if we, didn't properly clean it. This is the trickiest part on cars like this with this big swoopy bit. I like to just gently, it's behind there, but it's not touching anything at all. Boom. Now, it's just a matter of fine-tuning it, getting it where I want. You can see there's a little bit of that hydrophobic coating back in there where we couldn't get it with the torch. Just binding our film up a little bit. So, we just want to take our time, don't fight it. I don't know if you guys can see how tight that top edge is, but I'm good with that. It's probably going to be hard to tell because of the, on camera because of the vent shade right behind it, but we're just below the bevel. And I like to use my judge and just kind of get things moving. If you guys have seen me do one window, you've pretty much seen me do them all, but I know that the biggest way people find this channel is by searching for a particular video or particular year, make, or model or whatever scenario, situation. So that's why I like to do these. Now what I'm going to do here is, because I'm pretty confident, I'm just going to super gently and easily push that out. I want to go slow because I want the slip that I'm pushing out to lubricate the glue in front of it because of that hydrophobic coating. If we just smash it down, there's a good chance we could cause glue streaks or even worse, creases. And I don't want to do that because even though this is just the two front doors and it doesn't take much time, I don't want it to take any more time than it has to because guess what? I've got more cars to do. And yeah, I hate having to redo windows, but I will if I need to. The whole trick is just setting yourself up to be in a position where you don't have to, right? Now, right now, I'm pushing. You can see I'm extracting some moisture, but I'm not pushing super hard. This isn't my final pass. The way automotive film is constructed, you can push the moisture out 2 or 3 times. It's not a big deal. Architectural film, you don't want to do that. I've not noticed an issue, but people that have been doing it way longer than I have and know way more about the science and all that stuff say that that's a no-no. You don't want to do it, so don't do it, I suppose. Now, if you can, it's always good to take a minute here, clean up the glass. I'm just going to go ahead and hit my vent shade while it's here. Get the glass clean. Get your edges clean, because that's going to show you, if you have any specks hanging out, if you have any moisture pockets you've missed. You can gently go down the top edge, but don't go super hard, because you can shift your film or peel it back or whatever. So we got some stuff on the edge here and got a little bit going on there. So now it's time. We're going to go ahead and mist her down. And we're going to put some real pressure to it now. And this is going to be basically our final pass. Okay. Now, on my corners, I like to take my tool and go up a little bit. Like, I'll push the top maybe 6 inches or so out, and then I like to come down. I've just found that if you go in and down, sometimes it's a little bit harder to get what's in this very, very back corner, to where if you just go up, it pushes everything up. Can't get back in the film because it goes up and out. And then, just works a little better. Next step I like to do, especially since we rolled this up and we can hear and see that there's a lot of pressure on the glass right there. Last thing I want to do is roll this up and then have it crease my film or push it down or something like that. So here comes our friend Mr. Torch. Don't burn your dang window channels, right? I'm trying to stay right below it because the heat's gonna dissipate through this tempered glass. That's just how it works. And works the same for laminated, just seems to take a little bit longer, but I just want to heat this up until it's warm. You're not trying to cook it. Okay, like this is hot. Like I can hold my hand on it, but it's not super comfortable, right? Now we're gonna get a towel. Now as this heat comes through here, like this is, I would say, I mean, I don't know, I need to go get my temperature gun and do, you know, some tests on this, but this is just warm. This is like a nice sunny day and it's been sitting outside for like 5 minutes. Not super hot. You can keep your hand on it. But what we want to do, we just want to hammer down this top edge just to make sure any kind of moisture that's lingering on the edge is gone. We're also making sure our film is pushed down. We got one speck right there. One speck. Let's just chisel him out while we're here. I mean, nobody's ever going to see that, but we know it's here, right? So let's just, all I've done is obviously this glue is warm, so it's going to want to tack. And then we're just taking the corner of our chiseler wrapped in the hard card, or wrapped in a towel. I always do that because I don't want to scratch the glass. And all we're doing is just pushing that residual moisture out. So it's pretty warm. Now, if we say a little prayer, if you're into that, cross your fingers, whatever you want to do. Let's roll this up and listen. No crinkles, no none of that. And now we work on the bottom half. I like to kind of push everything towards the corner, basically out and down. And then on these stupid stamps, I like to really hit them a couple times. I did not shrink this at all, as you saw. So, you know, we may have to do that now. We'll see. A lot of times you can get pretty lucky if you distribute it correctly and you... What's happening here is you're pushing the moisture down. If the moisture is still hanging out on this bottom edge like it is, the film creates a vacuum and wants to suck it up. And that's where you have a problem if you have your seals in, especially. It's going to want to suck dirty water out of the seals and shit. So, you know, it's another benefit to bottom loading. So we'll just come up here. You don't want to get up here where you've heated the film, because you're going to get glue streaks and stuff. But now we're going to push out and down a bit past our edge, so that way the film has nothing to suck up. Yeah, might have to work at it a little bit right there. That should be Gucci, or bussin', or slapping, whatever the kids say these days. That's what it is. So worst case scenario, right? Let's say you got a little finger that pops up and you just can't get it down. So my strategy is, if I push it down with my dehydra and I get past the edge and it still wants to suck up, I stop right there. I go get my heat gun, and then I'll take my suede blade, I'll wrap it up, and I'll just kiss it with the heat a little bit. You'll watch it shrink just a touch, and then I'll push it out. If you get the film too hot, or if you wait too long, when you push it down, you're going to get glue streaks, and those glue streaks won't really cure out. I mean, if you get just a little touch down here, you know, it's probably not the end of the world, but it's just one of those things you want to be aware of, be mindful of. It's a lot easier to just hit it with the heat while it's wet, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about the glue streaks and stuff. So, I don't know if you guys can see, but we'll go ahead and go ahead and wipe it down real quick. So we got a little spot of something that almost looks like a glue streak. I don't know if that's something that just didn't come off, like when we cleaned it, or what, But honestly, we can do the same thing we did up here in this corner. We can heat this up and then just kind of gently push it out with the hard card. Okay, not a ton of heat here. Barely warm. Let's give it just a little more. One thing to watch with the torch, guys, is sometimes, like, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's not that hot. And then for whatever reason, I don't know the science behind it, but sometimes the inside of your glass will be a decent amount warmer than the outside. So just something to be mindful of. You can always add more. The problem is if you add too much, this is laminated especially, you can actually bubble the glue in between the two layers. So yeah, you don't want to do that. Now, I wanted to get you a good angle of where we push this out, but I don't know that it's going to work from the outside. So all we're going to do is just kind of smash that down. I mean, that's really it. I didn't even use a whole lot of pressure. So basically, which... Dude, that's well within international window film standards. So I'm not even the least bit concerned about it. But what we've done, see, now you can't even see it. Now I mean, I don't know if it's just a little bit of moisture hold up right there. Oh, I guess it's right there. You guys can't even see it. You're not going to be able to see it. But basically what we've done is kind of flattened it out and dissipated it. So now it's just not stuck in the film. Like it was. It's spread out. You'll never see it. 100% good. You saw how easy it was. Let me show you how to put the seals back in this old gal. I'm going to roll them down just because. Okay. This had all kinds of trash in it. These ones, they go up in like that. And then the only thing to watch for is this black plastic deal. I just kind of squeaked it out of the way and push it down in like so. Okay, put your little plastic thing back where it goes, and it honestly isn't really attached to anything unless it's up here, which I'm sure it is, but it just kind of flops around. Now all we're gonna do, I don't know if you guys can see this rolls back and over. So I like to start at the front. Doesn't really matter. You're just peeling this back and kind of pushing. And once you get it started, you'll notice, like, you'll figure it out. Boom, it's done. Like you'll figure out where it wants to go, where it needs your assistance, and where it doesn't. And on this particular Explorer, you have one 7mm bolt behind this little cover. I've done a decent amount of Explorers, and some of them you don't have to pull the panel off, like you don't have to pull the screw out. Some of them don't have a screw there. Some do. Just push on that, make sure it's locked in, and it is. Now we can roll our window up and clean it for the 97th time because it's all wet on the outside. But there you have it, guys. That is how you that's how you bottom load. That's how you do these Explorers with the vent shades. Really, any car with the vent shades, use that Sharpie method. It will save your butt. I use it even when I don't have to anymore, just because I can't tell you how many times. Like, I do the whole double cut thing, and even if you're not double cutting, you stick the film on there, and you stick your film on, and you tack it down, and then your slip's too slippery, so you end up pulling it too far this way, and then, you pull it back this way, and man, just lock it down, line, cut your top edge, connect the dots. Simple stuff. So, now that my dog's barking and carrying on, or one of my dogs, the battery's about to die on this GoPro anyway. That's how you do it. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.